The British charity organisation Oxfam says the world's richest people have grabbed nearly twice as much wealth as the rest of the global population put together over the past 2 years. Decades of unfair tax cuts for the super rich and corporations have fueled the inequality, with the poorest people in many countries paying higher prices. The findings from Oxfam's latest report comes as businesses and world leaders gather in Davos for the World Economic Forum. Billionaire fortunes have surged by nearly $2.7 billion per day, gaining nearly $42 trillion in new wealth since 2020. The report says the world's richest people have seen an extraordinary increase of their wealth during the COVID-19 pandemic and the following cost of living crisis years. At least 1.7 billion workers are living in countries where inflation outpaced wages, and more than 820 million people, about 1 in 10 people on Earth, are going hungry. Oxfam is calling for a systematic and wide-ranging increase in taxation of billionaires to prevent profiteering. The Rise Group says a 5% tax on the world's super-rich could raise $1.7 trillion a year, which is enough to lift nearly 2 billion people out of poverty. For more, I'm joined by Didem Demircan. She's the coordinator at KEDV, the Foundation for Support of Women's Work here in Istanbul. Many thanks for joining us here on the programme. Didem, how is it possible that at a time of potential recessions, growing inflation, obviously pandemic closures, but also slowdown, the wealthiest people and multinational corporations became dramatically richer, as the report says? Can you help us understand?
Yes, as you are saying, the billionaires are $2.6 trillion richer than they were before the pandemic. And in the last 10 years, they have doubled their wealth. And this has been possible with today's economic system because this economic system allows for the accumulation of extraordinary amounts of wealth in the hands of a small group of people. And the mechanisms like taxing that should have worked for the distribution of this wealth to the bigger segments of the society are not working. So, and the billionaires are paying taxes as low as 2-3%, while an ordinary trader in the marketplace in Africa, for example, is paying around 34% from her income.
Right. What are the biggest dangers of the concentration of wealth in the hands of a few?
Well, the concentration of wealth means that only a privileged group of people are reaping the benefits of this wealth. And these benefits do not go to the 99% of the society. And as you were saying, today, 1 in every 10 people is facing hunger, and hundreds of millions of people are unable to afford the cost of living. So for the first time in 25 years, poverty is increasing, and it will continue increasing if we do not stop this system.
And the report as well, at the same time, strongly advocates greater taxation of rich people and corporations. In your view, what are the most effective ways to implement this? I'm thinking a one-off wealth tax, for instance, or rather increasing inheritance taxation. What could work best?
Well, we need to stop the accumulation of such extreme wealth, and we need to distribute this wealth and use it for the welfare of the society. So we need to start implementing wealth taxes, increase the direct taxes, and decrease the indirect taxes, which puts the burden on the ordinary people. So if you look globally, only 4% of all tax income comes from wealth taxes. However, an annual wealth tax on multimillionaires and billionaires could end poverty. We also need national and international systems that can track that kind of wealth that the richest people and corporations are gaining.
Right, and I think it's interesting, Didem, that in the report there's an emphasis on food and energy companies, and we've seen their profits really double in 2022. Would a windfall tax work on these food and energy companies, in your opinion?
Yes, I mean, Oxfam says that we need to introduce such windfall taxes because we know that these two sectors are mainly dominated by a small number of corporations. And this allows them to maintain high prices. They reap the benefits of this economic system. For example, last year, they made $306 billion in windfall profits. And they paid out 84% of this profit to rich shareholders, which made them even richer. So now Oxfam is calling for windfall taxes to end this crisis profiteering, And these taxes would only be focused on the largest corporations and the extraordinary profits that they make over and above the normal amounts of profits that they make.